On a hot afternoon, as the sun shines its bright rays on the golden sand dunes of the desert, there is a small but extremely resilient creature living its life. It is the desert beetle, one of the most amazing creatures that nature has to offer. Join me as I explore their lives, the challenges they face, and how they have adapted to survive in this harsh environment. Desert beetles, also known as beetles, are small but strong creatures. They can survive in conditions that many other species would not be able to endure. Temperatures in the desert can reach 50 degrees Celsius during the day and drop below 0 degrees Celsius at night. Hard to believe, right? But desert beetles have developed amazing survival mechanisms to adapt to this change. They have a hard shell, which protects their bodies from the heat of the sun and also keeps them hydrated in arid conditions. One of the most interesting things about desert beetles is their ability to find water. In arid environments like the desert, water becomes a precious resource. Desert beetles can find water from dewdrops in the early morning. They are able to collect these tiny drops by using their bodies to guide the water into their mouths. What a clever way to survive, right? Furthermore, they can also survive for long periods without water thanks to consuming foods that contain water, such as cacti and seeds. But it's not just water that desert beetles have to deal with. In the desert, life is not just about finding food and water, but also a fight for survival. Predators such as birds, snakes, and even large mammals are always lurking around. To cope with this, desert beetles have developed excellent hiding skills. They can camouflage with their surroundings, making them harder to detect. Their body color is often similar to the color of sand, helping them blend into the background, thereby avoiding the attention of predators. In addition, desert beetles are also capable of moving very quickly. When they feel threatened, they can run away quickly, helping them escape dangerous situations. This agility not only helps them avoid predators, but also helps them find food and water more effectively. Another interesting thing about desert beetles is how they reproduce. In this harsh environment, reproduction is not a simple matter. Desert beetles often reproduce during rainy seasons, when living conditions become more favorable. They will create nests underground, where temperature and humidity are better controlled. After the eggs hatch, the young are left to fend for themselves from a very young age. They do not receive parental care, but must find food and water for themselves to survive. This requires the young beetles to learn and adapt very quickly to their surroundings. The life of the desert beetle is not only a story of survival, but also a lesson in resilience and adaptability. They show that no matter how harsh the circumstances, if we can find a way to adapt and overcome, we can survive and even thrive. These little creatures are a testament to the power of nature and the ability of life to survive in the most difficult conditions. And if you think desert beetles are just small, unremarkable creatures, think again. They are true warriors in the natural world, always fighting to survive, always looking for new ways to adapt and thrive. We can learn a lot from them about perseverance and overcoming difficulties. The life of the desert beetle also shows us that, in nature, everything has a role to play. Every creature, no matter how small or large, has a place in the food chain and ecosystem. The desert beetle is not only part of the desert environment, but also part of the larger story of life on this planet. We need to protect and preserve creatures like the desert beetle, not only because they are valuable to the ecosystem, but also because they are symbols of life and the power of nature. If you have the opportunity, take the time to learn about these creatures. Learn about their habitat, about how they survive and adapt. You will find that every creature has a story to tell, and those stories are worth hearing. The desert beetle is one such story, a story of resilience, of adaptability, and of the power of life in the wild. Finally, remember that in life, we are like the desert beetle. We face challenges, hardships, and enemies. But if we can learn from the desert beetle, if we can find ways to adapt and overcome, then we too can survive and thrive, despite all the hardships. Let these little creatures inspire us to remember that, no matter what the circumstances, life always finds a way to go on.